Good morning and welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy. It is Saturday morning. Whew, I slept well. I woke up without a headache. The sun is up. There's going to be some really good times happening today, kids. Mark my words. Today is going to be a good one. How do I know? Well, because last night, my friend William drove back from Texas to California, bringing me some Q. Yep, folks, I had Rudy's Q for dinner last night. I got to tell you, was amazing. You know, there are some foods that I would travel to eat, that being one of them. The barbecue that comes from Rudy's in Texas, it just don't get no better than that. No kidding. He brought it from two different places, City Market and Rudy's, so we could do a little taste test. We had some ribs and we had some brisket and we had beans and potato salad and coleslaw and rolls, and it was just like heaven. But I didn't overeat. Okay, now, speaking of eating and excitement, good morning, Jonathan. Speaking of, I got so excited about my barbecue. It was so good. So good. Good morning, Henry. Y'all. Good morning, y'all. My barbecue made me feel like calling everybody y'all. Good morning, darling. Well, you're all my darlings, but that particular darling is my darling. Anyway, we had Q for dinner and it was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So, yesterday I shared with you that I was kind of upset because I had made you guys a pledge that I was going to lose weight by yesterday. I don't know if I even talked about it yesterday because I was so bummed. I didn't know if I could really lose more than 2 pounds a day in 5 weeks, but I was willing to give it a shot, right? Well, I failed. Okay. I officially want you to know I failed. You really should read my post on what do I say, what do I do about weight loss. I think you'll understand where I am on this. My first reaction was utter despair because I failed. I said I was going to weigh 123 or less, 125 or less, whatever it was, 10 pounds. I had weighed 135.7 or something, like ridiculous amount of weight for me. And I said I was going to take 10 pounds off in 5 weeks. It didn't happen. In fact, I got on the scale and I weighed 130.1 pounds or something like that, right? And I thought, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. If I just lost one more ounce. Anyway, I played tennis yesterday and I came home and weighed myself thinking, I have to have lost weight now, right? Peeled off all the clothes. I just sweated. I just exercised. I got back on the scale and I weighed 131.1. I was so bummed. So bummed. 130.7, whatever it was. Anyway, I took all my clothes because it just didn't seem possible. I took all my clothes and weighed them separately. Yeah, hello. Come on. I was wearing more than an ounce of clothes. And then I put my clothes aside, got back on the scale, and yes, folks, 129 something. I took a picture. I put it on Facebook. And I said, "Look, I'm not giving up. I like the way I'm doing this. Some foods are expensive, some foods are not expensive. I have a budget for food. I don't want to exceed my budget. If I'm going to eat something that's expensive, I'm going to have to even it out by the other meals having foods that are inexpensive. It's working. It's working. I've got a whole plan. I don't need to do it here. Go read it. And those of you who want to join on the bandwagon and lose some of that COVID weight, I am so with you. There is something about publicly announcing what you're going to do that kind of goes, you got to do it now because you said so. There's nothing more valuable that you have than your word. Nothing. You are your word. So I need to be responsible about my weight. I want all my clothes to fit. And as I said in my post, who knows? I may even rock a bathing suit by the time it's summertime in the desert. So that was my news from yesterday. Well, that and the fact that they're, oh, that's annoying, isn't it? See that glare? That and the fact that they are putting, nope, check that. They have put electricity in our backyard. Yep. And now Casita Sandita is live. That's going to be so much fun now. The air conditioning will work in there, everything. It's like the perfect guest house. Perfect guest house. Very exciting. Yes, it is the truth about my word, Henry. There just is not much left beyond that. They can't take that away from me. It's National Dentist's Day. Really? They deserve their own day? Okay, they do. There have been times when I know people where the dentist has saved them. So, yeah, okay. All right, I'll give it to you. National Dentist's Day. You can have this day. It's yours. Congratulations. I still don't like going to the dentist. I'm trying to think if there's... No, that's not really true, though, because I love having my teeth cleaned. I love shiny, clean, white teeth. I think that says a lot about a person, don't you? Do you ever notice that when you run into somebody who doesn't take care of their mouth, it's kind of like, ew, right? Good morning, Opa. You're usually the first one here. Yeah, so like I grew up loving to brush my teeth. And we had fluoride in the water in Chicago. And I got to tell you, it really did matter. And the reason I know that is because I am in my 70s and I have had one teensy tiny cavity. One, that's it. Yeah, fluoride really did help. Wasn't there a toothpaste that had fluoride in it? Or maybe they all do now. I don't know. But it worked. What does that say? Oh, Oprah's in her creative space. Yeah, baby. It's dress day. I'm not really sure what that meant. I didn't take the time to look it up. Does it mean wear a dress or does it mean get dressed? It could very well mean just get dressed because since we've been in quarantine for so long, I gotta say, sweatpants and pajamas and robes and slippers seem to be the way of the people, right? Yeah, remember for a while it was jeans? It's not jeans anymore, it's sweats, right? Because you're at home. Who's going to see you anyway, right? Okay, it's also Frozen Food Day, and for a reason, because it is the birthday. I didn't write the date. It's the birthday of Clarence Birdseye. Come on, you recognize the name, right? Birdseye Frozen Vegetables. Apparently, he had been up in Canada, to my Canadian sisters and brothers. Birdseye had been up in Canada and fishing. And the Canadians showed him what they did to store their fish and keep it for as long as they did. He started thinking about what they did with the fish and thought, gee, couldn't you do that with anything? Came back down here, started Birdseye, and the rest is history. So today is Frozen Food Day. Thank you to the Canadians. And thank you to, what was his first name? I forgot. Clarence. How could I forget Clarence? Clarence Birdseye. Happy birthday. Also, Pulaski's birthday. I didn't look him up either, but I'm constantly amazed at how many places in Chicago were named for famous old-time army folks and warriors and from other countries, particularly Poland. And I just thought they were street names. You know, where are you? Oh, I'm on the corner of Pulaski and Devon. I don't know. Anyway, happy birthday to Pulaski in heaven. What else? Oh, it's Shaq O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal. It's Shaq's birthday today, too. There's a guy who got famous and did some good with it, huh? Good on you. All famous people have their moments, good and bad. But for the most part, who doesn't like Shaq, right? Michelangelo's birthday. Now, there's a guy who made a contribution. I think his biggest contribution may have been that he was one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle things. Yeah. Interestingly, there's a Michelangelo turtle and a Donatello. So each one of my kids got their own turtle. Yeah, pretty great. Are you getting tired of hearing about the Alamo? Because apparently today was the final big battle of the Alamo, and it fell to Santa Anna. Didn't you think that the Texans won, or as my brother would say, the Texicans beat the Mexicans? Apparently not. Apparently Santa Anna won that fight with Jim Bowie and his knives and Davy Crockett and his coon hat. Davy Crockett died today. Yeah, it's the anniversary of his death. I don't know if he died at the Alamo or not. I don't think so, but it's possible. And don't you think that it's interesting that Santa Anna won, and here in California, we have a whole bazillion different things named after Santa Anna? Okay, this was cool. In 2018, so that's not that long ago, in Western Australia, someone found a message in a bottle that washed up to shore that was from 132 years earlier from a German ship called the Paula. Seriously, but it didn't say what the message was. Maybe it just said drink Coca-Cola, who knows? But it was a 132-year-old message in a bottle, and apparently that is officially the oldest message in a bottle ever found. How exciting is that, huh? There's more, but wait, there's more. In 1921, in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, watch it, Pennsylvania, you are on my list right now. There was a police edict that said women must wear their skirts 4 inches below their knees. 1921. We're not talking about the Ice Age, folks. Back in the 20s, in the 20s, we had flappers and stuff, but not in Pennsylvania, apparently. And they could, in fact, arrest a woman for wearing a skirt that wasn't at least 4 inches below her knee. Can I tell you something? At 4'10", Oprah, you can identify with this. At 4'10", my feet are 4 inches below my knees. Okay, moving right along. Oh, today is the day that Louisa May Alcott passed away. She's the one who wrote Little Women. You probably knew that. Special to me because I was in that play. And as you would assume, I played Amy, the youngest sister, who was kind of goofy compared to the other girls. Yeah. Fit my personality. I was Amy. Good times. Oh yeah, let's go stand next to Shaq. Boy, that's for sure. I told you about, and I'll tell you again another day. It's so much fun to be this size when you're around people who are not this size. I have a nephew, a blood relative, my brother's son, who is like, I don't know, 6'4", 6'3". Every year, well, except this last year, at the holidays, we would take a picture of just the two of us because it seriously doesn't even look like we're the same species. Yeah, I know, right? 4'10", 6 something, it's crazy. And yes, the 20s were 100 years ago. Yeah, which brings up yesterday's funeral. Yesterday, I was at a Zoom funeral for my former mother-in-law, who I mentioned to you. She was my mother-in-law for over 20 years and my friend for probably 10 years before that. She lived 100 years. Can you imagine the changes she saw in the world in 100 years. And she was a voracious reader. So she kept abreast of everything that was going on. Quite interesting. Last 5 or 6 years, she was blind and in and out of hospitals and in a home. But they celebrated her 99th. They had a party for her. They would have had a 100th birthday party, even with the pandemic, I'm sure. But she turned 100 at midnight and passed away in her sleep about 4:30 in the morning. Nice way to go. I'm sure they're having a big party for her in heaven right now with her husband, my best friend, Fred Lynette's. You go, Fred. Make that a good party. Whew. No, seriously, Opa, you have a son who's 6'3" and you're the same size I am. I have a son who's 5'11" and I think of him as my giant. You know, yesterday was Son's Day, right? Yesterday, the day before. I hope you celebrated your boys. And Ginny's little too, and she has a son who's over 6 feet. What is this? Is it what we feed them? Maybe. Maybe it's what we feed them. Okay. In 1981, on this day, Walter Cronkite signed off for the last time as the anchor of CBS News. If you don't remember Walter Cronkite, if you weren't lucky enough to be alive to catch his broadcasts on CBS, news was a different thing back then. I'm sure if you go to YouTube, you can find some of his broadcasts. He was called the most trusted man in America. There was no fake news coming from that newsman. And it wasn't about opinions. It was the facts, the news. You could trust what he told you. What happened? What happened? He was the real deal. He was the real deal. Okay. I'm leaving you today with word art on what do I say, what do I do? The word art I posted this morning was very appropriate for our times. There's a lot of memorial services happening. We've lost a lot of people in the last year. Don't wait for a funeral or memorial service to tell people how you feel about them, to tell them what you valued about them. I listened to people talking about my ex-mother-in-law yesterday, saying things like, she had a smile that, she always did this, I loved this about her, I loved that about her. And I thought to myself, how many of you actually took the time to tell her those things while she was still alive? If I like your smile, don't you want to know it now? If I appreciate what a good human being you are, don't you want to know that today? Yeah, right now. That's why I tell you I love you every day before I close. Because a sip and a smile, that's nice. But letting you know how special you are, because you are special. Yeah, I'm talking to you right now. That's even better. So don't save it for when they're gone, folks. Let them know now. Make their day today. Don't celebrate their day when they're not here to party. I love you so much. Thank you for being here for me. And remember, if you want to lose weight with me, what do I say? What do I do? Sign it up. You got it. And I'll check in with you. I will be your partner in this. See you tomorrow. Have a great Saturday. Bye-bye.